All right, guys and girls. Once again,
Mura?
back on the show. Good morning, goeiemorgen. And to my Capitanian friends, a lovely morning this morning out of the Bay of Plenty, Tauranga. We started off this morning with about 11 degrees, but it's open this morning. There's not a cloud in sight here, not one cloud. So it would have been a beautiful day out there on the ocean, but unfortunately, you stuck with me today. So,
You can
all
bake
right,
something.
I'll bake something. Now, I actually got a lot of work today to do. It seems as if every insurance company thinks because the fact that we're sitting at home, we need training. So they are training. I've got about 4 hours of training today to do. So I've got to get through that as well. Um, a few people know about our story, but I also recognize that a few people don't understand our story or don't know our story. So our story started back in 2016. I could actually pop back to say 2010 when I tried to get into Australia, when I looked at Canada, but our real story, our New Zealand story, started in 2016 when we came to New Zealand. Remember that time?
Yes, I
Okay. This was the one who said, I do not want to come to New Zealand. But okay, she is here now. So 2016, we started off, we came to New Zealand in probably the worst time ever. We came in winter time when it was wet, windy, and the days are this long. So we came down here, and I said, if I think of immigrating to a country, I want to go there when it's probably at the worst time possible to go. So um, I want to come here when the sun is shining and everybody's lying on the beach and it looks like Hawaii, and you just want to say, oh, I want to live here. I want to come here when it's absolutely bad. And I think we stuck it bad. We stuck
really bad.
we
And
had a
I
few
just
rainy
want to
days.
say, at that stage, I really did not want to come to New Zealand. I didn't want to go anywhere for that matter.
Yeah.
So I did not come. I came forced in 2016. Um, I didn't actually think he was really serious when he said we're going to New Zealand. I didn't think he was serious. So when we booked the tickets and we came here, I was really not in that state of mind. I was really not happy. I didn't want to be here.
But forced or not, she got on the plane because it was overseas holiday. So we arrived in Auckland, and it was wet, windy, and miserable. Just a normal winter's day. So saw a few things in Auckland. I had an interview there, and for the first time ever, I think we jet lag hit us. We've been overseas quite a few times, but coming to New Zealand, goodness me, jet lag is a terrible thing. It really hit us hard, and we didn't know what it was. Can I say where you ended
Yes.
up? The wife ended up in hospital. So
I think we must just give them a little bit of background so
it's
that
up
they
to you.
don't think I'm just a sissy. When we started to talk about coming to New Zealand in 2016, that was early 2016 when you decided that we're coming. Um, I was really having a hard time just to get my head around it. I started um, getting panic attacks early in 2016, but not on a regular basis, just now and again. But when we got here, I think it was just the jet lag and my state of mind and the anxiety and everything. So um, I had really bad anxiety, and that's why I ended up in
Yeah.
hospital. But they quickly just gave me something for the anxiety. So the rest of
The
the
interesting
holiday,
fact is, every time they wanted to do something to her, they took me to the pay point, and I had to pay. I will never forget. The first payment was $123. This was New Zealand dollars, and that was 2016. So
yeah. But in the end, they
in the
gave
end,
me
we bought a
something.
$9 pill. That helped. But they did the $123 general examination. Then I had to pay something else for the ECG, which was a heck of a lot of money.
Mm,
Just kept on paying. It was, and then eventually $9 for the pill. So
mm.
yeah, $9 pill made her feel a bit better, but she still wasn't convinced. I couldn't get the pill to convince her to come to New Zealand. So, so yeah, let's start off. We started off in Auckland, traveled to Wellington. 2 days in Wellington, rainy, wet the whole time. Moved over from Wellington, Praparamu,
Mm.
okay, Praparamu, down all the way to Napier. Napier was the first time that we saw a bit of cold sunlight. Still a bit windy, but not that major wet. Then from Napier. We stayed 2 days in Napier. That's right,
Yeah.
yeah. So 2 days in Napier. Then we came over to Taupu, Rotorua, and stayed in Rotorua for a night. And then we came down to Tauranga, and from Tauranga back into Auckland for another interview. And from Auckland went up to Paia, and from Paia back to Auckland for about 3 days. So in total, our trip was about 14 days.
Yeah.
I roughly had about 3 to 4 interviews with 2 different companies. At the end of the day, the one company made me an offer. So I opened the window, it's getting hot here. So I'm getting hot with my beautiful wife next to me. Yeah. So at the end of the day, I got the job offer. We left, went back to South Africa, and started packing up our lives. Now, at this stage of life, we had a house that we bought.
5 years ago.
Yeah, 5 years ago. So I was paying extra. I think I was paying extra 10,000 rand a month on the bond just to get it down quicker. I had this whole plan in my life where I was thinking at that stage of early retirement. To be quite frank, very early retirement, and I think we could have afforded it. That we wouldn't have been very rich, but we would have been happy. And I wanted to travel more. That was my big thing. So we packed up all our plans we made for the future, and by was the 1st or the 2nd of January of 2017.
No,
Yeah,
I think
the 3rd of January we were out.
in September. Yeah, we had to go for our medicals in September, and then I have high blood pressure, so the doctor there told me she said it straight away. You're not getting into New Zealand with this blood pressure. That's what she said. So that actually just elevated my blood pressure.
Yeah.
And I didn't like the woman at all after that. So I had to go back, I think, 4 times to have my blood pressure checked. The last time I went, I lay there for, I think, 8 hours where they took my blood pressure every
I put you in one of this little.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, I said to her, just pick the lowest one that you got and just send that in. I don't care if they want more tests or whatever, let it be. So
by this time we were packing up the house and everything, putting the house on the market. The house actually sold very well. I priced it a bit over the price that the area was going. So I put about 200,000 more on the house, and then eventually just dropped 150, which made the house sound.
I think the house was on the market for 2 weeks, then it was sold.
No,
it was very quick. So we had to pack up. We had we thought our last holiday with the kids in Bos that December. So we packed up the house before we left. And when we came back, we just had a few extra stuff to do. Of course, we were thinking, okay, we're leaving in February.
Yeah. But by that stage, I still had all my insurance in South Africa. I still had my medical aid. That's why I always tell people, don't cancel your stuff until you are here. It's very important. I get a lot of people coming through and they just cancel their stuff. That's like 5 months ago. Goodness me, luckily they're here and nothing has happened. So this is where our story goes. So we moved out in Jan.
Yes, the 2nd of January.
Yeah, moving with friends who said, come and stay a month with us because we're
I
going to New
have
Zealand.
to say, we had the most wonderful friends. Let me tell you, to talk to people that's not in the same some people just don't understand why you want to immigrate. So talking to them about how you're struggling to get your emotions in place, you just can't do it because they'll just get you down.
Yeah, they will.
So it was really hard because we actually had to just do it on our own. But we had to, Leslie and Linda, if it wasn't for you. So they were also thinking of immigrating, which they did in the end. They went to England.
Even before us.
Yeah. So they were in the same state of mind as us. So every time we had it down, they picked us up. So that was really, we ended up, the Lord works in mysterious ways.
So eventually, because I've got high cholesterol, and we declared that Immigration New Zealand asked for a ECG for her and an ECG for me. So we did the ECG, went back to the ECGs. The girl who not that thing. The girl who did our ECG took hers, then did mine, and she was off the machine, and I was still on the machine, and the girl came back and took the paper, threw it away, and did another one, and then she disappeared, and that made me worry. And so eventually the girl came back, and She was a nurse, not a doctor. So the nurse came back and I said to her, "What's wrong?" She said, "No, nothing. The doctor will call me." So the next day or the day after, the doctor calls me. This is now the immigration doctor calls me. It just goes on about the wife's high blood. Blah, 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 blah. Just talking. I said to her, "Okay, what's the story?" She said, "No, she's going to send in the lowest of the lot, and then she will be fine." So I said, "Okay, no big deal." I asked her, what about my ECG? I said the nurse looked a bit worried about mine as well. So she said, the nurses read into these stuff just what they want to. I'll never forget that words in life. So everything went back to New Zealand, immigration New Zealand, and they were sent off. And 2 weeks later, they came back and said they wanted the stress ECG on me. So I drove down. Well, now I struggle to find a cardiologist to do the stresses.
In January, yeah, everyone's on leave.
Goodness me, except that they're on leave. The other ones are booked like in 3 months, 4 months. And we have a friend that works for a cardiologist that does these tests. Not even she could get me. But eventually I phoned back to the doctor's rooms and said, "Where would you send somebody who needs a cardiologist on a very urgent basis?" And they said, "Try this doctor there in Somerset West." So phoned the doctor up. He said, "Yep, come in 1 day or two's time." Went there, saw him. Guy put me on a machine, let me run. Yep, I can run. And believe it or not, so I had my run there, and he eventually printed out and said, "Wow, you look very good. You did a heart scan. He said, very look good." But he said, "One thing worries me." I said, "What?" He said, "The one lead, and the lead is another thing that comes from your chest, one of those wires that goes into the machine." He said, "The one lead can drop to 3, but mine was dropping to 5. He doesn't know why." So I said, what does it mean? I mean, he's the cardiologist, that's why I'm paying him." So he said, "Well, his experience is that New Zealand is going to come back and say why." So I said, "Okay, how do we answer them before the time?" He said, "Let's do a angiogram." Now, at that stage, he lost me. I had no idea what an angiogram is. So this guy had to explain to me, they make a hole somewhere, pump you full of liquid or ink and look at what your heart is. I said, "Let's do it." A week later, went in for the angiogram. He somehow misbooked me. And the guy who I thought was the porter in the hospital, he did the angiogram. He was actually the heart doctor. So, and while they were busy with the angiogram, it's actually quite a weird thing and weird feeling. But I don't have time this morning to tell you how that feels. But while he was busy, he came around, and I still remember his hands were so full of blood with the latex gloves on. And he said to me, "I'm the ideal candidate for a 3 or 4 heart bypass." And then I think then my whole world stopped. Then I was wondering why. What is that? Eventually, just pushed me out, and I had to lay in the hospital for the whole day for this little hole. They made a hole down there, small little hole, and I had to lay the whole day there until the evening, about 7 o'clock or 6 o'clock or something like that, until this hole healed by itself. They don't put stitches or something in, but anyway, that's how the way they did it. So the next thing is they wanted me to do open heart surgery as quickly as possible. We were actually booked into Somerset West on I think we did the angiogram on the Wednesday. We were booked in for the Monday. That's how quickly they wanted to do it. But coming back home, we lived in Cape Town, which is about 100 kilometers from Somerset West. I spoke to my friend who does the test for the cardiologist down in Cape Town, and I said, "Listen, what's the chance of me if I can do this operation with nearer to home?" Because I was thinking of her. She's got to drive. I mean, it's not the best place to drive through while you're going there. So they booked me into Tauranga Hospital, which was about a kilometer from where we lived at that stage, which was great. And by that Wednesday was done. So Wednesday came and gone, and about 14 days, 21 days later, I came out of hospital. I had 5 heart bypasses done. By this time, my whole thought was that my chances to get into New Zealand was 0. That's what I was thinking. I was thinking I sold one of my 3 cars already, sold my house, packed up everything. Everything was standing at
Gave my cats away.
Gave the cats away. Everything was at Econotrans in their storage facility. Here I was. I could barely walk. She had to help me to get to the toilet. She had to clean me up. She had to wash me. Goodness me. This went on for about 3 months, and they had to get me to walk again. We had a bit of complications with the operation as well, with the leg swelling. But that's all in the past now. So 3 months after the operation, for the first time, I could really walk again and drive a bit. And I was really still weak at that stage. And I actually realized at that stage, if you have something like that, you should be off for at least 6 months, to be quite frank. I couldn't afford that. I was 3 months, then I was back trying to get the business to work. But now we were living with us, still living with our friends. That's even weirder. So we had 2 laptops that we worked from. We had a printer, and everything was stowed underneath our bed. So in the morning when they went to work, we took everything out, put it on the kitchen table, and we started working. And I would see a few customers. In the meantime, our staff went through back to Immigration New Zealand. I had to do another stress ECG. My heart rate was extremely low because of the tablets that they put me on. New Zealand said, no, we're postponing for another 3 months. So by this stage, from the 1st of March, we were postponed for 3 months first and then another 3 months. So I think they said by the 20th of September that only then thereafter I can go for another ECG.
Yeah, so we were in limbo for a few months.
We were
and then Linda and Leslie, which we lived with, he got a job in the UK and they immigrated in July.
Yeah.
So we had to look for alternative accommodation.
Yeah.
We found an Airbnb there in Bloemfontein. And in the meantime, before we went there, we just traveled, which was actually very good.
It was nice.
We traveled the whole country. Our family is quite widespread over South Africa, so we went everywhere that we had family. We went there and visited them for 2 or 3 weeks. We stayed with the kids for a few months. We lived with his mom and dad when his dad was still alive for a few months, which was very good. So he got to say goodbye.
Goodbye as well.
So that was actually very good. We had a long extended holiday in Hartenbos. We really it was actually, if I think back, that was one of the best times.
It was a good time, actually. It was a real good time.
Really good time we had. So then we just stayed in the Airbnb waiting.
But we were in this limbo area where neither Immigration New Zealand or our lawyer in New Zealand, we appointed a lawyer to do our residency. We were actually applying for residency directly out of South Africa. At that stage, you could still do this. Neither Immigration New Zealand, neither our lawyer could give us any faint idea if they were going to allow us.
There was no indication if it's going to be positive or negative. So we just carried on.
Yep.
Luckily, I was then in a very better
She was better.
state of mind.
I was getting better.
Yeah, it was actually, it worked out so well. We were actually, every time he was down, I was in a better place. And when I was down, he was in a better place. So we could just pick ourselves up all the time. It was really, it worked out very well.
Every time you send anything to Immigration, it's 2 weeks before they give you an answer back.
Yeah.
And normally it was a negative answer. It always,
yeah.
And eventually they came back and they appointed a new immigration officer.
So then the whole process started from scratch.
So back to square one. Do you still have the job? Yes. 2 weeks later they come back. We have found the guy who offers you the job. He says you still have the job.
Yeah.
It's up and down.
Luckily, the employer was
very was really good.
Willing to wait for Jan as long as it.
And he had to. Goeie ondersteuning. It was, none of the things were there, but it was goeie ondersteuning. Yes. So keep that in mind.
So what we did then while we were waiting, we went to Israel in August 2017 just to get another month. But it was necessary for us to go. Israel is our heartland. So it was necessary for us to go there again. It was lovely. Gave us good perspective.
But it was swimming in the Dead Sea or Jerusalem.
Yeah. So when we got back, we started to think maybe this is not going to happen. Maybe we should just start looking at alternatives. We knew that we didn't want to stay in Cape Town. We wanted a little bit of more relaxed kind of lifestyle. So we started to look around for houses to buy, more to...
Now we eventually, we looked throughout the whole country, to be quite frank. We looked at about everything. I'm not going to say why we didn't buy in certain areas of the country, but eventually we ended up there in the Garden Route area. I'm not quite sure where we wanted to go. Do we want to go Dannaby? Do we want to do Muscle Bay, Hartenbos, Reemoptatni? But somewhere along there, we started looking at houses and we started talking to estate agents, because at this stage, we didn't have the faintest idea. I mean, we were what? We were about $200,000 down now already. And we didn't have the faintest idea, are we going to stay or are we going to go? And we were now eating into our savings because I wasn't working full time. I was only working a few hours a day.
I resigned.
She resigned.
Early 2017 because we were immigrating.
So, yeah. At least gave us some time with each other, the one thing. The bad thing about this was the uncertainty. I just think that ate into us. And then I think the date we did was the 18th of February. We sat down one day and said, we got to call it today. Let's make a date. And if nothing has happened at this date, we do the undertaking that from here onwards we're staying. If immigration decision comes back to us before this date, we understand we are going. Or if they say no, we understand that.
You can't just sit around and wait for another year. No. It was just our savings were running low.
It was the 18th of February. We would have been a year and 2 months on the road already, out of our house.
So we had to make a decision.
Our stuff was still in storage. Luckily, we didn't send it to New Zealand. Storage is cheaper in South Africa than here. So
yeah. And then I remember we were visiting friends on the 16th or 17th, 2 days before the line that we drew.
But it was actually the 18th in New Zealand, believe it or not, the day that we drew in the sand. So.
And we were having a braai, I think, and Jan got a call from his prospective employer in New Zealand, and he said to him, have you checked your emails? And Jan says, no. So he says, go check your emails. And Jan went onto his email, and we got the visas were approved.
Yep.
I can't explain to you how we felt.
Yeah.
It was just the most amazing
feeling. Soren asking if we've been to the Wailing Wall in Jerusalem.
Yes.
Yeah, we've been there. We've traveled to Israel twice now already, and I think every time it's a new experience. So, yeah. So by the 18th, we knew we had to go, and that was probably some of the best news we ever had.
Yeah, but then we didn't have much time. We bought our plane tickets, which was for the 4th of March. So then we had to drive through the whole country again to say goodbye to everyone, which was actually very nice.
You keep on postponing the saying goodbye because you don't know if you're coming or going.
And then we had a few days. We booked an Airbnb in Bloubakstrand, and we invited all the kids to come stay with us, and my mum came stay with us. And we just had a
lot of barbecue. We fried every night.
Yes, it was lovely.
Fried and seafood.
And by that time, we were so excited that you don't really get that emotional because you're on this high, just thinking, okay, eventually we get to leave. So that was really good. And then we left on the 4th of March.
Yeah. And on the airport, you have the normal emotions, and that was the last time I saw my kids. They were supposed to be here now. Sadly enough, none of them is here. I would have loved to spend lockdown in them, but I would have hated it as well because I wanted to show them this beautiful country. And then we came here, arrived in Auckland, spent 9 days in Auckland, did a training course there.
Bought
2 cars there, one for me, one for the son. Then we booked a Airbnb in Papamoa. Went there for 47 days.
Yeah, while we were waiting
for our container.
And we still had to look for a rental. So, which was actually a very good idea. Yeah. We didn't know beforehand that it will work out that good, but it actually did. It's worth booking yourself into a place where you can stay long term, so that you don't have to worry about where are you going to stay next.
It's very frank. It cost us about $700 a week to stay there. I have asked the lady before we moved in. I've asked for a discount, and she gave us some discount there. Gave us 50% off because of the period of time that we are staying. But I just decided that I cannot go and camp in an empty house, and then until you've got the empty house, where do you go? So we decided book an Airbnb for a period of time.
It just helps you to settle in and get to know you.
Although it was $700 a week, I mean, we didn't pay for internet, we didn't pay for anything else, or water and lights and everything else. So basically, it cost us about the same as what we are doing now per week. So it wasn't that way more. And we had really decent furniture and
a cat.
Internet and the cat, that crazy thing.
Yeah, it's hard leaving your animals behind. It was one of the most difficult things that I ever had to do. We had 4 cats, which we loved like children. It was one of the most difficult things for me to give those cats away. I really struggled for months.
But the big problem is why we didn't bring the cats is in that period of time. We didn't know where we are going to be. If that cats had to be in a shelter for a year and a half, it would have caused them irreparable damage. Plus, then it would have cost us about 120,000 rand just to bring the cats here.
Yes, and we had two cats that were very anxious kind of cats that I was just, and then we said, okay, maybe we should bring two and leave two, but how do you decide which kids to leave behind? It's just
at the end of the day, two could go to one place and two could go to the other place. So we believe they sorted and happier there than they would have been in this whole journey.
No, it would have been so dramatic for them.
And I can promise you, we've had very ugly people making very ugly remarks about the fact that we have not taken our cats with us. So. But people do not understand the journey you have to go through yourself before you can even bring your animals. And I wasn't going to put my cats through that journey that I put myself through. So, okay, we stayed in this Airbnb. In the meantime, our container arrived. Wasn't being checked by customs at all. Came through. We got a house. We were lucky. We looked at about 50, 60 properties. Just every day we went out, property. In the meantime, my son was sleeping his ass off. Because he had jet lag and he didn't realize you got to stay awake until you're over the jet lag thing. If he was tired, he went to sleep. So he slept about for 3 weeks. So, yeah. And then the day we moved into our first rental in Papamoa, that was the day that our container arrived on the doorstep.
Yeah, we were very lucky.
So we moved in with our containers, started the big pack out. Lived there for a year.
We haven't seen any of our furniture for almost what was it, a year and a half where things were in storage. So it was really like Christmas packing those stuff.
and the joke is, while I was in the Airbnb, I actually started making a list of stuff that I needed to buy for setting up my offices and so on. Meanwhile, I've already packed all that stuff into the container. I just forgot about that. So opening the container was, geez, like nobody had given me Christmas presents like that. So every box was Okay, let's say this as well. While we were packing, we took all the rubbish that came out of everything and we put it on a specific a rack in our bedroom. And we said to the packing guys, don't pack that. You're going to throw that away. It was just way too much for to chuck into the normal little dustbin we had. So we wanted to take that outside, and they actually packed all of that stuff. So we opened the one box, and we had all our rubbish from South Africa and followed us all the way to New Zealand. So.
Yeah. Benita's asking, when did we apply for residence? We applied immediately in September 2016.
Yeah,
that's
it was
when
about
we applied.
then.
Yeah.
And it was about 2 weeks later that they brought in, just after our expression of interest was drawn, to give you a bit of facts, 2 weeks later they brought in the fact that you needed to do the English test. So we were lucky we missed that. And I think about 4 weeks or so later they brought in the fact that you can't get, I don't know exactly when they brought it, but not very late after that they brought in the fact you can't do residence out of South Africa anymore. So we were, I believe our timing line was, we were so extremely lucky. We were so blessed. So,
yes, we were.
But time has come and gone this morning, so it's time for us to say goodbye.
It was really nice talking to you this morning.
All right. Guys and girls, thanks a lot for listening to us. I hope that this gives you some hope, and I hope that what we shared with you this morning allows you to open your mind a bit more and see that this pandemic that we are going through is just a temporary thing. It's just what we want to
get around to you is just don't give up. It doesn't matter. I know for some of you it must seem really impossible by now with everything that's happening, but just don't give up.
Yeah, don't give up. I mean, whatever can go wrong. I mean, I've heard of similar experiences like mine, and these people are also here. I've heard of similar experiences like mine, and these people aren't here. So just don't give up. If you don't try, you will never know. And a lot of people feel that the first little stumbling block that they hit, that's the end of their world. It's not. It's not.
It's hard.
It's hard, but it's not the end of your world.
It's emotional and it's draining. It's really draining. But just keep on. God is good.
And don't ever give up. So, yeah. We've been trying some new technology here this morning, so we're going to try and see if that still works. All right, from us, thanks a lot. Have a good day and enjoy your time there. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.